Hello everyone and welcome back to Ms. Zainab's virtual class. Today's lesson is grammar. We're going to talk about be-verbs. It's a very easy lesson. Before we start, let me remind you of two simple things. Number one, please prepare a paper and a pencil because today's lesson has some practices that you have to answer. Number two, please remember that you can pause this video whenever you feel like you cannot keep up with the pace, okay? Are you ready with all your materials? Let's start. Today's lesson, we are going to talk about three simple things. We are going to discuss, number one, verbs, the difference between action verbs and be-verbs. Number two, we are going to talk about present tense. We're discussing the different forms of be-verbs in the present. And number three, we're going to talk about the past tense. Remember, in our previous lesson, we talked about the past tense. But we're going to discuss this again, and we're going to discuss the different forms of be-verbs in the past. Okay, let's start. Number one, as we said, we're discussing verbs. So, what is the difference between action verbs and non-action verbs? Action verbs indicate action, or they simply mean that you are doing something, or the verb talks about doing something. For an example, we have talk, walk, and laugh. As you see, these verbs indicate action. When you talk, you are doing an action, which is talking. When you walk, you are also doing an action. And when you laugh, it's also an action, which is doing something. On the other hand, non-action verbs talk about how something or someone is like. They talk about how something is being, and they are be-verbs. For an example, we have is, are, am, was, and were. What this means is that be-verbs, they do not talk about an action or doing something. On the contrary, they talk about how something or someone is like, okay? You see how easy that was? We are done with the first thing we said we were going to do in this lesson. Okay, and now we are at number two, present tense. I always tell my students, when you want to talk about the present, it means you are talking about now. And I keep on telling you to repeat, present means now, okay? So present tense talks about things that are happening right now and things that happen regularly. Things that happen regularly are mostly routines, okay? In the next slide, you will understand better, and in our practices, you will understand better. Okay, so we have some subjects here. We have I, we have he, she, it, we, you, and they. As we said, be-verbs, we have am, is, and are. These are be-verbs in the present form. And this is how we use them with different subjects. If you want to say I, if you are talking about yourself, you use the be-verb am with it. If you are talking about he, she, it, you say is. And if you are talking about and your subjects are we, you, they, you say are. We are, you are, and they are. The same thing goes for these subjects over here. You say he is, she is, and it is. As we know, we use it for animals and non-living objects. That's very simple, right? Let's see if you can remember. We are moving on to our first practice. Okay, so practice number one. Let's see what are our instructions. First, you have to read the sentences carefully. Number two, answer on a piece of paper. As I told you, I want you to prepare a paper and a pencil. And number three, choose the correct be-verb. That is it. Very simple instructions. Are you ready? Okay, we're going to the next slide. I will be reading the sentences and then you can pause the video to answer. Okay, as we said, these are our helping verbs, am, is, are. So the first sentence is Sarah blank happy today. Question number 2 or sentence number 2, my uncle and his wife blank coming over to our house. Number 3, I blank a fan of the Harry Potter movies. 4, the dog blank barking very loudly. 5, this is the last question or sentence, they blank a happy couple. You have 3 options here to use am, is, or are, okay? I'm going to give you 1 minute. Pause the video and answer. Okay, time is up. Let's see. Are you ready? So, the first sentence is, Sarah is happy today. We used is because Sarah is one person and it's a she. My uncle and his wife are coming over to our house. We said are because my uncle and his wife are 2 people. I am a fan of the Harry Potter movies. As we said, with I, we use am. Number 4, the dog is barking very loudly. The dog is an animal and we use it for animals. And we said with the subject it, we use is. The last sentence, they are a happy couple. They, we use are with them because they is for more than one person. That's very simple, right? How much did you get out of 5? I think you did great. Are you ready to move on to the next slide? Okay, we are at number 3, the last part of our lesson today. And we're talking about the past tense. As we said in the previous lesson, past means old. And I usually tell my students to repeat this. Past is old, past is old, past is old. When you repeat this, it actually sinks in your head. So, as we said, past tense, you use it to talk about old events and actions. Let us check the different subjects with the different be verbs. We said that I takes am in the present, but in the past, it takes was. Okay? He, she, it, they used to take is in the present, but in the past, they also take was. So we say he was, she was, it was. Over here, we have we, you, and they. In the present, they used to take are, but in the past, they take were. That's very simple, right? They are basically 2 be verbs. Oh, we are ready for our second practice. Let's see our instructions. Read the sentence carefully, answer on a piece of paper, and choose the correct be verb. They are similar to our previous instructions in practice number 1. So, are you ready? Okay. So, our be verbs are here. We have was and where. Let's read our sentences and then you can pause the video to start. Sentence number 1, Sarah happy yesterday. Sentence number 2, my uncle and his wife on a holiday last summer. Number 3, I asleep at 5 o'clock. Number 4, the dog blank chewing on a toy a minute ago. And finally, number 5, they blank not happy with the way the waiter behaved. All you have to do is answer with was or where. Now pause the video and answer. Okay, are you ready to show the answers? Let's see. I want you to keep track on your grades, okay, or your score. Let's see. Okay, number 1. Sarah was happy yesterday. My uncle and his wife were on a holiday last summer. I was asleep at 5 o'clock. The dog was chewing on a toy a minute ago. They were not happy with the way the waiter behaved. Of course, we are using was here because Sarah is one person. And if we want to replace Sarah with another subject, we would say she was happy yesterday. My uncle and his wife are two people. And if we want to replace this with another subject, we would say they were on a holiday last summer. I, as we said, the I subject takes was, okay? The dog was chewing on a toy a minute ago. We said the dog was because the dog takes it for being an animal, and it takes the be verb was. They, as we said, takes were. That's very simple, right? Okay, how much did you get out of 5? Oh, we have a challenge before we leave. Our lesson was very easy, right? So let's see if you can answer this challenge. By the way, you can answer the questions of the challenge in the comment section below, or you can send me the answers on Google Classroom. Number 1, it says, write 2 sentences with the past form of be verbs, and I want you also to write 2 sentences with the present form of be verbs. I think these questions are very easy, but are you up to the challenge? Let's see. Okay, my dear students, we reached to the end of our lesson today. Our lesson was very simple and very easy. So thank you so much for joining the video. And if you have any question, please do not hesitate to email me on this email, or you can talk to me on Google Classroom. Thank you so much for joining. Bye.